World Rugby's nominees for various awards are out for the 2021 year. I've got a few of them on the board. By no means is it all of them. There's a bunch of awards which I've not got on here, like Best Try and Sevens and so on. I've got the men's, women's, breakthrough and coach awards on the board. We'll kind of go through those quickly, and you guys can let me know your thoughts. I mean, condemnation of the nominees in some areas has been pretty swift, and there's not really a winning way to do this if you are World Rugby. I say this as a guy who has produced numerous videos about Team of the Week, Team of the Tournament, and I know from experience you will never satisfy anybody. There's very few ones of those I've done where I've had virtual kind of consensus on it. Everyone's got a different idea about who's the best, this, that, or the other. With only 4 nominees as well, it is quite... It's natural that there's going to be a bunch of people who have been left out. That being said, I am also like everybody else. And when I see someone else's list, I also react with, oh my goodness, how have they left out this person and that person? So, yeah, we'll go through a few of them and kind of who are some of the people to miss out. And you guys can let me know your thoughts as well. For the women's one, I don't follow the women's game anywhere near enough to kind of comment a heck of a lot. I just know that the women's teams in the Six Nations, the French and the English, seem to be by far the 2 most competitive, so it's kind of no surprise that it's 2 English in Oldcroft and Cleo, that's Poppy, and 2 French women in Boujard and Sansuisse, who have been nominated. I can't remember the pronunciation, forgive me, but I did watch the Women's Six Nations this year, and it was it's a long time ago now, but it was a bit of an arm wrestle, and I just remember England being very, very good, and France also being pretty bloody good, scored some electric tries, but that's all I can say, I guess. The Black Ferns have recently gone over to Europe and kind of been pretty well beaten, so I can kind of say that makes sense to me, but I say that as very much a casual observer of the women's game. The breakthrough player... it's all backs, isn't it? And it tends to be that way. The breakthrough player of the year has only been one that's been around for several years. I think I've only seen one forward ever win this award, and it was Maro Itoje a few years ago. It tends to be wingers, like Deanti got it a while back. I can't remember the others that got it, but yeah, it tends to be backs who win this award because they come good a lot younger and tend to get thrust into a starting role a lot younger. There's my phone. Right. What was I saying? Backs tend to come through a lot younger, so they tend to get nominated for these awards just kind of sooner. So, yeah. I mean, Will Jordan, Andrew Callaway, Lewis Rees-Zammit, and Marcus Smith, yeah, they're all pretty good young players, aren't they? So, I don't think there's been many complaints about that. Will Jordan's been electric. Andrew Callaway's been a bit of a revelation since the Aussies have been playing him on the wing. Lewis Rees-Zammit, I'm not sure that he's breakthrough anymore because didn't he start last year a fair bit? But anyway, and Marcus Smith has only played a handful of games for England and only one so far against Tier 1 opposition, but he's been tearing it up for his club. So, and he did go on the Lions tour and make one kind of non-test appearance. So, I don't think there's too many complaints about that, but it would be nice to see a forward on there. But as I said, the way that the game works out, forwards kind of often start their careers from the bench and get eased into it. Like, I mean, Ronan Keller has come a long way in terms of forwards, if I can just throw one off the top of my head. But, there you go. Those are your breakthrough players. Garbisi and Duan van der Merwe are 2 actually that I did write down. As guys who have more backs that have had kind of pretty good years and they're still relatively young in terms of their careers. But I'm not sure what the rules are about who counts as a breakthrough player or not, like kind of rookie of the year. Does it have to be your first year? Because I'm convinced some of these guys played last year as well. But anyway, the coach one, I'm saving that one for last. Coach Ian Foster, Dave Rennie, Bunting and Sweeney is Alan Bunting and Corey Sweeney, the coaches of the New Zealand women's 7 side, who I'm not familiar with at all because I don't follow 7s, men's or women's. And then Middleton is Simon Middleton, who I'm also not familiar with as a man, but I do know his team. They have a very, very, very good record. They basically just win everything in recent years, so I can kind of see why he's nominated. Foster and Rennie, you can probably question those. I mean, Fozzie won the rugby championship, and he beat Fiji and Tonga and all the teams who toured New Zealand. Had a really good, held the Bledisloe. It's taken a bit of a shine off of it with that last loss to the Springboks in the rugby championship because they didn't get the slam, and then they lost to Ireland last week, although I'm sure this was sorted out before that week's game. So, yeah. Dave Rennie had that good 5-match winning run, but had a pretty bad record against the All Blacks, and then their Northern Tour has kind of gone a little bit to custard. So you could probably question that. You could ask, why is Jacques Nienaber not on there? Because he won the Lions Tour, although the Rugby Championship performance, they came third, so you could argue against it. But then on the Northern Tour, they're so good. So you could have maybe waited until the results of those competitions, but I know the timing's all kind of set in stone, so there's nothing they can really do about that. Esteban Menezes, the coach of Uruguay, I would have thought he's worth a shout, man. He got the Americas 1 spot. I don't think anybody thought, well, everyone just assumes it's going to be the USA that gets America's 1, but Uruguay got it, so I would have thought that's another potential alternative, and I don't know enough about the Sevens to really comment, but yeah, I could see arguments for, I mean, these guys have had good moments, like I said, Rugby Championship, 5-match winning run, but I could also see arguments against them and arguments for some other coaches as well, but there you go. And men's 15s player of the year. Dupont from France, Itoje from England, Hooper and Karevi from Australia. That's the one that seems to be, had a wee look on social media, stirring the biggest kind of controversy. Yeah, if I had a problem with one of them, and it's not because I don't like him as a player, but Samu Karevi, I think, only played 5 tests. He didn't play the opening 2 games against the All Blacks, did he? He played the 3rd one, I think, and then he played the 2 games, or is it 6? I know he played the 2 games against South Africa, 2 games against Argentina. I think he only played 1 against New Zealand, but I could be wrong. But he didn't play a heck of a lot of games. He didn't play any of the games against France, and he's not gone on the autumn tour. But Australia did look a much better team when he's been playing. And that being said, you could also argue for Dupont. Dupont didn't travel to Australia, but he was bloody good in the Six Nations, and then he's kind of picked up where he left off now. So he's there. Itoje maybe wasn't as flash as he could have been in the Six Nations, but was pretty good on the Lions tour. And then Hooper, I think has genuinely looked very good even when Australia haven't been good. So, I mean, that may give me a bit away as to who I would vote for, but Hooper, I genuinely think, looks very, very good every time he plays for Australia, even when they're getting 50 points put on them by the Kiwis, and when they're winning as well. So, yeah, but I mean, the list of other people you could have had on there is tremendous, isn't it? There's no All Blacks on there, which is unusual. There's no South Africans on there. That's the number 1 and number 2 teams in the world. The Welsh won the Six Nations. They don't have anybody there. If you're talking about people, because Karevi has only played a very limited number of games, like Hamish Watson was, I think, the player of the Six Nations. Got himself on the Lions tour. So if you're talking about a short set of games being enough to qualify you for player of the year, Hamish Watson can go on there. I mean, from the All Blacks, I mean, Geordie Barrett's kind of gone from being in a race for who's the fullback to being legit one of the most secure pairs of hands of any 15. Lekanyuam's been the mainstay of the Bok midfield for the whole year. There's the thing that actually grinds my gears more than anything else, more than that there's no New Zealanders on there, which, I mean, yeah, no South Africans. There's never any props. Props never, ever, ever get nominated for this award. Not even nominated. I don't think there's ever been a prop nominated for this award. Ever. Think about that. That's madness. That is absolutely stupid, right? How many teams have you seen that have won games just based on their set piece? They've got a big old maul. They've got a big old scrum. Like, anybody knows that, right? Maybe it's because they tend to play not 80 minutes. They don't get that much camera time on them because they're not lining up goal kicks. They don't score real flashy tries. I know you got 2 forwards there, but no front rowers. I think hookers have won it before, but never, any props. I mean, Tyke Furlong probably should have won it in 2018, right? Tyke Furlong could easily be on this list. Stephen Kitsel's probably been the beast loose here for the last few years, right? Although the beast was there as well before he retired. So, yeah, there you go. I mean, who else did I write down? I did write down a few names. Robbie Henshaw, before his injury, was also in cracking form for Ireland. Montoya for Argentina has been playing like 80 minutes a game. He's always like their top tackler. Their line-out's always solid. He's always like the top turnovers guy on a team which is getting beaten. He genuinely looks very good every game as well. Sia Khaleesi for the Box has been, pretty immense. There's been heaps of other guys as well. Conan for Ireland has been phenomenal. But, I mean, other players, I guess, have been injured as well. But, yeah, there you go. That is what it is. You guys let me know your thoughts. Who would you have if you were nominating the list, or who would you pick from the existing list? And, yeah, as I said, there's no perfect way to do it. Whoever World Rugby picked, there would be criticism. But, yeah, here we are. You guys take care of yourselves. I will talk to you again soon. See you later.